Hey, what up guys? John from Mongo Fishing. So today I'm bringing you the Mystery Tackle Box Pro unboxing. Before we get into that, we apologize. I'm just dragging ass this morning. So this last week I signed up to do a fishing, like a veteran only fishing tournament on Lake Dardanelle. And when I was talking with some of the people that were putting on this little charity event thing, or you know, free, I guess not charity, it wasn't raising funds, but it was a free event put on by two nonprofit organizations. And when I was chatting with them, they had mentioned they had like 40 some odd participants, but only 30 something boats, and that they were going to have people fishing off of pontoon boats. And so I called my buddy Heath, and he and I decided that instead of being participants, we were both going to be boaters, and instead of co-anglers, if you will. Because you can't have people like fishing at a little bass tournament out of pontoon boats. I mean, yeah, you can, but and it wasn't necessarily a bass tournament. It was just a fishing derby, if you will, but veterans helping veterans, basically. And so that's what we chose to do. We decided we would both be boaters, and in this case, boat captains, and take a veteran with us instead of us going on someone else's boat. So I'm dragging ass from that. We went. It was on Saturday, so Friday they had a little, like a partner meeting, where like a teammate meeting and a barbecue thing, hamburgers and hot dogs, where boat captains were assigned to their veteran. Thursday, Heath and I drove up to Dardanelle and pre-fished, and so I'm dragging ass because it's an hour and a half, 2 hours away. So drove up Thursday morning, fished, drove back, and then drove back up on Friday to do the little captain's party, if you will, and then fished, and then stayed the night, and then fished Saturday, and then returned. And so this showed up on Friday before I left, and I took it with me. I was going to do an unboxing on Dardanelle, but I just didn't have time on Friday, and we didn't get up there until a lot later than we expected. And of course I wasn't going to do it during the little tournament, if you will, because I'm trying to get my co-angler on a fish. She had never caught a bass before in her life, and so that was my goal, was to put her on a fish, which I did. I was successful. Her very first bass of her life was the only keeper we caught. It was 1.8 pounds. So Debbie, my co-angler for the day, has a personal best of 1.8 pounds, and it was her very first bass of her life, so it's pretty sweet. But anyway, so if I'm drinking coffee in the middle of this, it's because I'm dragging ass. And I have a tournament on Dardanelle this week, so this week is going to be a bunch of tournament prep. But let's get to this. Let's find out what is in the June 2018 Mystery Tackle Box Pro Box. All right, so of course, right off the bat, sweet sticker. I dig that. Little flag with treble hooks for the stars and baits for the red stripes, and then just white stripes. So I like that sticker. That's probably going to end up on the truck. The what's inside our box and Dibble Digest. All right. So first off, we have a Lucky Craft Gunfish, $15.99. This is a little Lucky Craft Popper topwater bait, black Gunfish Archer B. It's a 4-inch, 95 millimeter, 3/8 ounce. So that's actually a really good color. I might actually use this on Dardanelle. The water was kind of like it wasn't muddy, but it wasn't stained. I actually really depended. There was parts that were muddy and there were parts that were stained. So that may end up in my box for this week's tournament. But that's $15.99. Next up we have the Lucky John Pilot. Lucky John Pilot, 65 millimeter. It's a crankbait. It says weighs 19 grams. Crankbait for 0 to 2.5 feet. Color, no color. So it's kind of a goldish silver, very sticky hooks. They're a little small, I think, for its size. In fact, they are small for its size. If you look, you can't even see the hooks behind it, right? They're really tiny. I'm gonna have to upgrade those hooks for sure. Otherwise, I think what's gonna happen is the fish is gonna swing at this and get a bunch of plastic and no metal. So this is a perfect example of why you need to upgrade your hooks, or at least look at them. It says it's good for 0 to 2.5 feet, but sorry, 0 to 2.5 meters. That's more like it. It's got a really wide bill at a very, you know, slow, gradual slant. So yeah, 2.5 meters. That makes a lot more sense. So you're looking at 0 to 6 feet, about. I like that. It's pretty nice, and it's a MTB exclusive. That's probably why there's no color. So that retails for $9.99. Next up is the Vile Craw, the Biospawn Vile Craw at $3.59. Biospawn makes some really cool lures. I've never thrown this one personally. I've never even seen this one personally, but it's black and blue. It's got a little raised edge back here on both sides. It's going to cause it to get lots of kick. Yeah, I'm sure that thing flaps around quite a bit too. Think of that whatever you wish. And yeah, that's that. It's scented, maybe a little light coffee scent, enhanced with bio scent. Black blue flake. It's a 4-pack. Rigging options says Texas rig, jig trailer, weighted swim bait hook, shaky head, Carolina rig, and topwater. I'm not sure how I would. I guess you could do it as a topwater like a frog. Oh, what's it say about that middle piece? Paddle tail antenna with erratic wobble, claws that move at slow speeds, and reimagined hook slot for added weedless protection. Talking about that little guy right there. So anyway, the Biospawn Vile Craw right there, $3.59. Next up is the Optimum Original Swim Bait. Optimum Baits Ghost Minnow, 5/8 ounce, 3.5 inch. Just a basic shad swim bait. The weight's already in it. This is gonna be like a one-time use type thing. Once a big bass, or once you hook into something like a pike or something like that that they don't have around here, but they have in other places. Once they get into this, it's gonna rip the tail right off, and then this won't be usable again, because the weight is actually molded in the plastic. But it's pretty cool looking. I'll give it a shot. Alright, so here's a problem I have with this thing already. And this is, okay. If your swim bait, or any bait for that matter, has the hook off center, you run the risk of spinning, right? And I haven't given this thing a shot, and the way it's weighted, it probably won't spin. It'll probably stay pretty even and swim anyway, but if you look, that is nowhere near center. It is really off to the side. So for all I know, this may give this thing a slight lean, but that is certainly not centered the way that hook is. So hopefully it doesn't affect the way this thing works, but we'll find out. That's the Optimum Baits Original Swim Bait, and it says it is $8.99. Next up is some Liquid Mayhem fish attractant shad scent. Not much to say about that. I mean, it's fish attractant. Stuff works. It's $4.99. And last is the Lunker City Slug-go worm. And this looks like it's going to be black and maybe not black. What is it? Devilfish. Quantity is 4. It's really hot. Good lord. But it's a little worm with you know, little cut areas to give it a little better action. But it's a Slug-go. So that is that, and that retails for $2.60. So that's it, guys. I think fishing a slam with this will be pretty easy. At least for a few of these baits. There's a few that I have questions on, but I'll still give it a shot and do my best to complete the mystery tackle box slam. But that's that. Hopefully I'll have that video out next week. This week is going to have a bunch. I'm just doing a bunch of tournament prep and pre-fishing. Speaking of, go back to that tournament that I was talking about this at the beginning of this video. So there's not going to be a tournament video, and the reason for that is I put my GoPro on and we didn't get a bite for like the first 4 hours. By that time the GoPro battery had died and I swapped out GoPros, but what I forgot to do was turn on the GoPro. So I only have the first 2.5 hours of the tournament, and that was basically just us fishing. No fish catches at all because we didn't catch anything until 10 or 10:30. And it seems to like that's when the majority of the people really started getting into it. It was a really late morning bite. A few people caught fish early in the morning, and others, you know, some people got skunked all day. We didn't do all that well. Like I said, we caught that. Her first fish was the only keeper of the day at 1.8 pounds. I think the winning weight was something like 14 or 15 pounds, but I don't know what they weighed because it wasn't just bass. Smallest fish was also a possibility, and it had to be, it still had to be legal, right? So if you caught a 12-inch spotted bass, that could be smallest, but if someone brought in a bluegill, that could be smallest. And I think smallest was 1 ounce, and it was a bluegill. I think Heath's team actually got smallest. They had a nice toad too, that had an almost 4-pounder. Probably would have been 4 pounds a few weeks ago. She was big, but she was very, very thin. Obviously spawned out, but anyway. All right, guys. So that's that. That's this month's. Gross. That's this month's Mystery Tackle Box Pro. Yeah. So sorry, my brain's fried. If you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button's right down there. Looks like me holding a fish. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and tell me, drop a comment below which bait is most intriguing to you, or which one do you think is going to be the most effective. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Get out on the water, be safe, and go stick some lips.